You are listening to This Week in Taiwan. I'm Eloise Phillips. Every Saturday, we break down the biggest stories making headlines across the country, from politics and economics to culture and the unexpected. Whether you're tuning in from Taipei or halfway around the world, we've got you covered with what you need to know to stay in the loop.
Good day everyone, I'm Phil Laskowski, stepping in for Eloise Phillips. Let's begin with our first news story from Friday, the 8th of May. Taiwan and Japan's Okinawa Prefecture jointly hosted a travel industry promotional event in New York on Thursday, May 7th, marking the first cross-border collaboration between two destinations to attract North American tourists. The Taiwan Tourism Administration's New York office and Okinawa Convention and Visitors Bureau held the 2026 Taiwan-Okinawa briefing, highlighting the geographic proximity of the two destinations, just 90 minutes by flight, as a key selling point for flexible, multi-stop itineraries. Taiwan Ambassador Tom Lee noted that Taipei is actually closer to Okinawa than Tokyo is, making a combined trip a natural fit. Officials emphasized that Okinawa was named one of the New York Times 52 places to go in 2026, presenting a timely opportunity to boost regional tourism. Representatives from China Airlines, EVA Air, and Japan Airlines attended the event, presenting flight options from North America to both destinations. Taiwan's tourism office said East Coast travelers who prioritize cultural immersion and culinary experiences are an ideal audience for the complementary offerings of both destinations. The 79th World Health Assembly, or WHA, will begin May 18th in Geneva, Switzerland, and while Taiwan did not receive a formal invitation, it will still be sending a delegation to network with health officials from around the world and share Taiwan's health and welfare expertise. RTI's English field reporter James Thompson attended a briefing for more details.
Taiwan shouldn't just wait passively for World Health Assembly invite as delegation prepares Geneva trip. Taiwan should not just wait passively for an invitation to the World Health Assembly, Foreign Minister Lin said Monday, as Health Minister Shi Chongliang prepares to lead a delegation to Geneva during this year's global health event in the Swiss city. The 79th World Health Assembly will be held from May 18th to 23rd, but Taiwan has not received a formal invitation amid objections from China, which opposes Taiwan's participation in international organizations. Leaving no one behind is the spirit of the World Health Organization, but it is constantly violating that, Lin said at a joint Foreign Ministry and Health Ministry press conference on Monday, May 11th. Actually, it's not just a potential loss for Taiwan. The world's loss is greater, the Foreign Minister added. Health Minister Shi said Taiwan should not be absent as the world faces challenges including aging populations, rising chronic disease burdens, infectious disease threats, and antibiotic resistance. Unfortunately, so far this year, Taiwan has still not received a formal invitation, Shi said, adding that Taiwan should instead participate actively. He said he will lead health ministry officials and participants to Switzerland, continuing Taiwan's practice of sending delegations to Geneva to promote its participation on the sidelines of the assembly. This year, Taiwan will hold 4 healthcare-related forums in Geneva where the World Health Assembly meeting is being held. These will focus on hepatitis C elimination, cancer prevention and treatment, digital health, and medical resilience. This is James Thompson with Radio Taiwan International, reporting in Taipei.
According to Korea Tourism Organization statistics, approximately 540,000 Taiwanese tourists visited South Korea in the first quarter of this year, a 38% increase compared to the same period last year. The total number of Taiwanese tourists visiting South Korea for the year is expected to reach 2.32 million, setting a new record. Taiwan's Tourism Administration numbers show that from January to March 2026, a total of 5.36 million Taiwanese tourists traveled abroad, 19.4% increase compared to the same period last year. Japan remained the most popular destination, followed by China, with South Korea ranking third. Korea Tourism Organization said that South Korea has seen an uptick in foreign tourists, with approximately 4.76 million visiting in the first quarter of this year, a 23% increase compared to the same period last year. The roughly 540,000 Taiwanese tourists ranked third in the South Korean market. The organization stated that to reach its target of 2.32 million this year, it will hold the Korea Culture and Tourism Fair in Kaohsiung from 15th to 17th of May. United States President Donald Trump arrived in Beijing on Wednesday evening for a 3-day visit and meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Experts have weighed in regarding concerns that he may reduce support for Taiwan. According to the Associated Press, retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery described Trump as a transactional president and expressed his concern that should transactional opportunities arise, they could present challenges. Montgomery is now a senior fellow at the Washington think tank Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Edgar Kagan, a former senior Asia-Pacific Affairs official who served in both the Trump and Biden administrations, offered a different view. Kagan, now China Research Director at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, emphasized that Trump understands the use of leverage and said he believes that the president is unlikely to sacrifice U.S. interest in Taiwan in exchange for other gains. Analysts note that Taiwan's greatest bargaining chip is its world-leading semiconductor industry. Assistant professor at National Taiwan University's Graduate Institute of National Department, Lev Nachman, said Trump understands the importance of Taiwan to the U.S. economy and that this is likely the main factor preventing drastic policy changes. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has clearly stated that U.S. policy toward Taiwan remains unchanged. He told reporters in Rome, Italy, that they are opposed to any forced or coercive change to the status quo, as this would create global instability. He also noted that while Taiwan will not be the main focus of Trump's trip, it will be a topic of discussion. However, Brookings Institution China expert Patricia Kim warned that even if official policy remains unchanged, Trump may not fully understand the delicate balance maintained in U.S. policy language on Taiwan and could create risk through spontaneous remarks. Taiwan is elevating its presence at the 79th World Health Assembly, with the island's foreign and health ministers expected to jointly lead its delegation to Geneva for the first time when the annual gathering opens on May 18th. The Foundation of Medical Professionals Alliance in Taiwan held a pre-departure press conference on Wednesday, where Deputy Health Minister Liu Jiande said the dual ministerial agreement has been in the works for months. This is truly a cross-ministry effort, the Foreign Ministry and the Health Ministry together. We have had many discussions on how to showcase Taiwan's medical capabilities to the world through smart healthcare. Liu said Taiwan plans to debut its first World Health Assembly Taiwan Smart Medical and Health Tech Expo in Geneva alongside 4 international forums. Deputy Foreign Minister Cheng Ming-chi said Health Minister Shi Zhongliang is confirmed to attend, while Foreign Minister Lin Jialong's participation in bilateral and multilateral meetings remains under review. Chen also stressed that neither UN Resolution 2758 nor World Health Assembly Resolution 25-1 refers to Taiwan, arguing that their use to exclude Taiwan undermines the global health principle of leaving no one behind. Geopolitics is undergoing dramatic changes and emerging technologies are driving a transformation in diplomatic policy, Foreign Minister Lin Jialong said Wednesday. Writing on social media after meeting a delegation from the US-based National Bureau of Asian Research, Lin said the relationship between national and economic security is growing increasingly intertwined, urging Taiwan to leverage its semiconductor and AI advantages to expand diplomatic space through enhanced Taiwan-US economic security cooperation. Lin argued that as humanity enters the AI era, any emerging technology related to information, data, and computing power is closely tied to national security. This, he said, is accelerating the supply chain restructuring and the building of trusted, non-red supply chains among democratic nations. Taiwan's strengths in semiconductors, AI servers, and ICT systems integration make it an indispensable partner for democracies. At the same time, the island's position in the first island chain reinforces the global interest in cross-strait peace. Lin noted that emerging tech is also reshaping commercial diplomacy. Under Taiwan's comprehensive diplomacy framework, Taipei has been actively promoting economic diplomacy through initiatives including a reciprocal trade agreement and investment memorandum with Washington. Lin also expressed hope to deepen ties with Central and Eastern Europe, Japan, and other like-minded countries. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Xiao Guangwei said,
In late January of this year, Taiwan and the United States jointly signed the Joint Statement on the Pax Silica Declaration and Taiwan-US Economic Security Cooperation. This progress helps both sides continue deepening economic security cooperation to build a safe and resilient supply chain jointly.
Ahead of Donald Trump's planned Beijing summit with Xi Jinping, The Guardian warns against weakening U.S. support for Taiwan in exchange for cooperation on trade or Middle East issues.
U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to visit Beijing from May 14 to 15 for a summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping, as concerns grow over whether Washington's Taiwan policy could become part of the broader U.S.-China negotiations. British newspaper The Guardian recently published an editorial warning the Trump administration against softening its position on Taiwan. The paper argued that Beijing may view Trump's transactional style of diplomacy as an opportunity to seek concessions in exchange for cooperation on trade or Middle East issues. According to the editorial, China could push for reduced U.S. arms sales to Taiwan or changes in official languages surrounding support for Taiwan. The article warned that even small rhetorical shifts from Washington could be interpreted by Beijing as strategic signals. The editorial said China still appears to prefer pursuing unification through non-military means, including economic pressure, military intimidation, gray zone tactics, and psychological warfare. Analysts cited by the paper say Beijing may believe the current geopolitical environment presents a temporary, quote, window of opportunity, partly because the United States is increasingly focused on conflicts in the Middle East and consuming large amounts of military resources. The article also noted growing concern over Taiwan's domestic political landscape, as opposition cooperation and debates over defense spending continue ahead of future elections. Despite rising Taiwanese identity and increasing public skepticism towards China, some political voices in Taiwan continue to argue that improving cross-strait ties remain the more pragmatic path. The Guardian concluded that maintaining stability across the Taiwan Strait remains in the long-term interest of both the United States and broader international community. Joey Cho for RTI News.
And that's it for this week in Taiwan. My name is Phil Laskowski, stepping in for Eloise. If you want to know more about what's going on in Taiwan, visit our website at rti.org.tw/en. Until next time.